So, I had a really horrible experience yesterday, and I wanted to share it. That's why I look so haggard this morning. Yesterday, I woke up and I was fine. Same day as ever, you know. It was actually a very exciting day as I put on a pair of jeans that I purchased almost a year ago that I've never been able to wear. And I put them on and they fit fine and they looked great. So I wore them to work. It was really, really cool. So I get to work and I have a tendency to eat my breakfast at work. Just mainly because I can't eat so early in the morning. Even post-op, I feel a little nauseous if I eat in the morning, which is a really strange phenomena. So I went to work and I had my breakfast that I usually have, which recently has been a container of Del Monte peaches that are diced and packed in their own juice. So there's no extra sugar added at all. And I put that with about 2 tablespoons of low-fat cottage cheese. So, and what I like to do is I don't like my cottage cheese to get runny. So I take a few sips of the juice in the peaches before I add them together. So you have a little bit of a better consistency. Because I just don't like that runny cottage cheese thing that happens if you don't drain it. So yesterday, I got my cottage cheese all ready to go. I opened up the peaches. I took 2 sips of the juice. And I instantly had a pain in my stomach, I guess. It was really kind of in your esophagus to your stomach area. It felt kind of like something was stuck and dragging, like up and down my esophagus. And it hurt a lot. I had no idea why. I hadn't eaten anything outstanding. I hadn't eaten anything at all that morning. I hadn't eaten anything crazy the night before. It's just all of a sudden my esophagus was angry. Excuse me, and it hurt. So I waited it out. I actually packed my peaches and my breakfast away and put it back in the fridge and waited for about 2 hours before I attempted to eat anything again. But for all day, after I had had that little bit of peaches, my lower stomach, as I call it, had pain. I associate it very similarly to the pain I had had a few weeks ago. Kind of a mix of gas pain, and I'm not sure what that is kind of pain. It wasn't so bad that I was bent over, but it was bad enough that it was uncomfortable. My thought was maybe my jeans were a little too tight, and things were getting pushed around a little more than they're used to, especially since all of my clothing is very, very large right now. But regardless, it didn't go away all day. I got in about half of my peach and cottage cheese mixture before I had to throw it away because I just couldn't force it down anymore. And around lunchtime, I ended up eating a protein shake instead of anything else out of pure fear. So I came home that night and I made boiled dinner. Boiled dinner is something that I'd wanted to make on St. Patrick's Day, which had just passed. And unfortunately, I had to work late that night, so I didn't end up making it. So I made it yesterday. I made it in my crock pot, which I've never done before, and I wouldn't do again. The meat turned out way too dry. I think if you overcook corned beef, it gets too dry. I suggest you boil it for 3 hours and then take it out, and it will be perfect. Just make sure you let it sit first. But regardless, I made boiled dinner, so I came home, threw the cabbage in, because cabbage doesn't take very long. I made Irish soda bread. I made regular Irish soda bread, because I know Alex loves it. And then I made a sugar-free one, thinking maybe I could attempt it. No such luck. Alex is eating both of the both breads on her own. And we ended up getting a phone call from a friend of ours later in the day, right before we were going to start eating. And we invited them to come over because they were wanting to know what we were up to. So they also ate some of the boiled dinner with us, which was good because I made way too much. I need to really learn how to cut my portions down that I'm cooking. Anyway, this is all besides the fact. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I decide that as dinner's being served to have a bite of my boiled dinner. I take a potato, I take a turnip, I take an onion, I take a carrot, I take a little piece of cabbage, and I take a little tiny piece of corned beef with the fat all trimmed off. And a piece of sugar-free soda bread. And we all sit down, and I take 1 bite of the corned beef and 1 bite of cabbage, and I'm instantly in pain again. I have no idea what's going on, but it's excruciating this time. So I get up, and I throw up. And this is the first experience I've had throwing up because of food. And let me tell you, it wasn't pleasant. The feeling you get when food gets quote-unquote stuck, as you all know, it's when you eat, your esophagus is made to push food down. Well, it feels like your esophagus is playing this volleyball game of pushing food up and down and up and down and up and down when food gets stuck. And it hurts so bad. So, and throwing up is no picnic either. Food doesn't just come out as easily as it used to because it doesn't have the lubrication of the acid anymore. It actually hurts a lot when it comes up. And I ended up breaking a bunch of blood vessels. You can probably see it a little bit. All along my eyes, on both sides, all my blood vessels are broken. Which is pretty bad. So, after that, I laid on the floor on my stomach and didn't eat anything for the rest of the night. And today I'm going to stick to protein shakes and liquids, even though the protein shakes themselves kind of make me gag. But I thought I would share this just because I've been fine all week. I've had no issues. I had boiled dinner a week ago, and it went down just fine. And all of a sudden, it just didn't want to work. So, again with the work in progress, they always say that things can change overnight. And I guess they did. So, I hope that this all passes. Hoping that I have a great day today. And I just wanted to share this with you. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And please stay tuned as another blog comes up soon. Thank you again. Bye-bye.